Gentlemen, it is a pleasure to have you guys on. Happy that we were able to do this. I don't think it's been just us three before. I think it's on my pod. I don't think it's been us three.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's just been.
That's a good point. When we did the big ep, it was the three of us. It was me, you, and Jake.
Yeah.
And then anything that we've done in here has been a Journey Patreon.
Yeah. I appreciate you guys for having me on those. I kind of wanted to just go straight into it. I was asked a question this week, or actually yesterday, and it kind of made me reflect on my life a little bit. So I wanted to know what your guys' perception of it was or is. If your life was a movie and the audience is watching, what do you think the audience would tell you to do in this part?
Fucking start drinking my cut water. The audience is when you're in a when you're watching a horror movie and the audience is like, why are you not doing that? But why are you doing that? The audience is probably fucking yelling at me right now.
What do you think they would tell you to do?
I think the audience would tell me to worry more about myself than the things that are happening around me right now. I think the audience would tell me that it's time to pour everything into you and then let it overflow elsewhere instead of trying to pour into like a bunch of buckets and yourself last though. You know what I'm saying? Because I was always the thing about me that I always leaned into is that for the most part, whether it's in my family or my friend group or like my business without war, I've always been like the leader, and the leader always eats last, right? The leader just makes sure that everybody else is fed and that whatever's left is fine. And I've always like leaned into that. But I think it's time to still be the leader, but in order to lead, you need to be at the strongest. In order to lead as successful as you want, you need to be at your strongest. And I'm in a period of my life right now where I really need to lean into building myself back up to where I was plus past that. And I think it would be easier for the audience to see that from a bird's eye perspective watching me than it is for me to see it going through my life still worrying about everybody else. And I'll always continue to do that, especially with like my core, like you guys and my four best friends and like my mother and my family. But I also need to just like lean into the things that I can control, and what I can control is like my narrative and me, instead of worrying about everything else. Because I've been putting one foot in front of the other for a long time, hoping things are just like going to fall into place the way that I want them to. And like sometimes they do, but for the most part they don't. And that's because I think they're just going to fall in, And so there's other things that I could be doing that the audience will probably see and yell at me like, why aren't you doing that? You should be doing this. How could you not see that? But when you're so close to it, it's harder to see some of the things that you need to do, regardless of what genre or specific thing in your life you're talking about, So I think like from an overall perspective, it's an interesting question. It's not an easy one to answer on the fly, but like that's what I would say, right? That's like the first thing that comes to my head right now.
What was the question? Repeat the question?
Yeah.
So it's fresh.
So if your life was a movie and, it's played out from right now, maybe whatever part you're in this life, and the audience is watching, and you could just obviously picture like a theater, people are watching. When you're watching a movie, sometimes people are yelling at the movie like, this, you should be doing this, or why aren't you doing this? Like, what do you think the audience or viewers would tell you?
I think the audience would tell me, you know what you need to do, like, you know what you need to do. Why are you not doing it? And I think it's a lot of that. And I think that is stemmed from, if my character played out in this movie, I mean, you'd be able to see. I think there's like a part of me that's like a little, I don't know, kind of scared or anxious about the future if it does work. And I think sometimes that's why a lot of people avoid doing what they're supposed to do, because there's two outcomes. One, you get the thing because you did what you were supposed to do, and it's not what you thought. Or two, you know, you get it and lose it. And I think those are two things that stop people, right, from pursuing or really doing what they need to do. But also, I think there's another aspect of why people don't fully do the things that they know that they have to do to get to where they want to go. Like you tell people, I want to get to this point in my life. I want to be this successful. I want to have this type of lifestyle. But your actions don't align with that. And John Jones used to say this. And he was like, yo, I would always party and drink before on like fight week, like leading up in camp. Just in case I get knocked out, I had a scapegoat. And I think there's like a part of me where like I'm afraid things don't work out how I want them to. So I don't give it my all. So like when I don't get there, at least I could like have justification for like not getting there, being like, well, you really didn't give it your all. And I think a lot of people do that to protect themselves from imagine you gave something all you had and you really did it and you still didn't make it. Mm-hmm. People are afraid of that. Mm-hmm. So I'd rather fuck it up right now. So when I don't get there, I have an excuse. I can justify why I didn't make it. And I can be that guy, you know, telling everyone, oh, I would have went Division I, but you know, my knee at the high school football game. That's what people are. Nobody actually taps into who their full potential is because of the fear of imagine I gave something my all and it still doesn't work. Imagine I gave someone all of my love. I love them to the best of my ability and they still leave me. Mm-hmm. That's why we always leave a little room for error because in the end, it saves our ego.
It's a good one.
That's where I think I'm at.
Because I think of like when my dad used to tell me growing up, as long as you give everything that you knew, as long as you give everything that you could and it doesn't work out, well, at least you know you tried your hardest. And my answer always was, no, I think that makes it worse.
Makes it worse.
You know what I'm saying?
So now my best isn't enough.
Yeah.
It's like a safety blanket.
Yeah.
I just proved I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
But if you don't give something your all, it's a stupid justification. I'm not agreeing with it. Yeah. But I'm saying this is what a lot of people do.
Well, that's why it's also, it takes balls to do what we do because we succeed, but we also fail in the public eye. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just like, that's why content creators and influencers and whatever, people that make content and post it, it could be a mind fuck because if it doesn't do that good, that makes you insecure. And not only did it not do that good, but everybody could see the analytics on it as far as like likes and comments and shares and shit. And if they're not where you want them to be, well, not only is it not where you want it to be, well, like everybody else could see and judging based on their perspective. Not to some, it might be good because their perspective is different, but to some, it might not be good because they're a little further and they're looking at it like, you know, but my point is that people can have an opinion on what you're doing publicly. Yeah. That's why it's a little difficult to do what we do. And it takes a lot of balls, bro.
I think it's also like, you could also be judging yourself privately, like especially if it's if stuff's doing good publicly. I feel like you could be judging yourself privately that nobody like really sees. Like to the outside world, it could be like, oh yeah, you're thousands of views, millions of views you've had on this guest or that guest, or just like posting content. But then you're like, damn, I know I'm kind of fucking up. Yeah, you know, like I know that I'm kind of not doing what I should be doing, but to the public, it just looks like you have everything figured out or that what you're doing is successful, but like behind closed doors, you know, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah, well, that just leads me into a thought that I had with Johnny that you're gonna have on Friday. He posted a TikTok about how he doesn't think that he's doing enough like for his company, but the numbers are double and XYZ and everything is on pace to where it's supposed to go. And he was like, but I'm just very hard on myself. I think I could be doing more, whatever. So I had to send him a voice note just to like kind of
ground them a little bit and be like, bro, listen, like I make clothes, whatever I'm saying is that one, you're gonna have a great conversation with him because he thinks just like us. But number two, it just goes back to what I said, succeeding and failing publicly and privately. Because some people might look at it like you said, there's the flip side to that too. It looks like he's doing amazing, but to him, he feels like he's not. But it looks like he is. So then now that's a mind fuck. And I like to fuck with your emotions, and I've been there so many times.
I think it's a sliding scale though, because I guess it depends who you are and where your I guess where your head is at with like what you one define as failure, two like how you care how it's perceived. I don't know, like how often do you really like look at people's likes and comments and share? Like we don't do that.
No.
But we think people are doing that to us.
Yeah.
No one's doing that. No one's really checking. The only time I go and check is when someone like talks a big game, you know, about like their social media presence or something like that. Then I'll go look and be like, oh, your followers are fake, or everything, it's all fake, or you get no engagement. But like you're acting like you're this social media guru. You know, those are like whatever. But no one cares. Yeah. You know, like nobody's actually watching. Like the only people that are watching your failures are your enemies. And they're praying that you fail. People that really don't want to see you win from jealousy and envy. And bro, like that's it. The only other person that really cares about your failures is you. And that's who you don't want to let down. That's who you don't want to see fail. Other people really like, bro, no one cares. Yeah. You know, I think we egoically think that people care so much about our lives. They really don't.
Yeah.
It's a very selfish.
Yeah, it's like a
thing
narcissistic type of thing.
sure.
Like to think that we just like, oh, the world revolves kind of around me. But it's like
people don't care.
Yeah. I think that's what's worse for me is like the private. Like I don't really care about the public opinion. I think it's more like the private opinion that matters more, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit of both. I care what the public thinks of me.
Oh yeah, I mean I think it's different.
I do for sure.
Because people are, you know, I think it's a different metric because people are buying the clothes that you sell, so it's a different metric.
No, yeah. Well, from that, yeah, for sure, yeah, because that's how I make my money. Right. But it probably is just from that because now I sit here and think about it. If I post an emotional clip of myself, or I'm crying, or I'm talking about my ex, or whatever the fuck else, and someone like comments on it that's made feminine or some shit, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
because I know that I'm not, and I know that I would slap the shit out of you.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
No,
so regardless, like I don't care. So yeah, I guess it is more so from the other end of my content making, which is the clothes, which I need to sell clothes. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I was watching this. I talked to you about it before that. This Allison Armstrong episode with Chris Williamson, and I think it was the reason why I think it's an incredible episode is because I think we get she's an older woman. For people that don't know, she's an older woman. She has been studying men and women and their like relationship behaviors. And she had a failed marriage and she wanted to study men and women and why. Basically, she wanted to figure out why her love life was not working and why she thought that men sucked. But then she realized that it wasn't the men that actually were terrible. She was just bad at communicating what she needed or understanding what men and women needed. And she's hosted seminars, workshops about teaching men how to treat women, but also telling women how to treat men. And in one part of the episode, she talked about how men and women view relationships or value relationships differently. That women want more security and they want more safety, and men just want to be able to feel seen and feel heard and feel respected and not like emasculated. And I guess my question to you guys is that do you feel that men and women generally want two different things? As you guys have like observed your own relationships, have viewed other relationships, do you believe that there's two different value systems that men have as opposed to what women have? Maybe you guys can just speak on the men perspective, and maybe if you guys have women friends or people that you know. What is your view on that?
No, I think men and women certainly want different things in relationships. I think that's what makes a relationship. I think that's why there's a reason that, you know, true feminine woman is attracted to a masculine man, and the differentialities between the two blend so well, and that's what creates a beautiful marriage and love and a family, and the kid gets the nurturing from the mother, and they get the tough love and the respect and the masculinity from the father, right? And I think we're supposed to want different things. I think a woman naturally wants to be taken care of, provided for, feeling secure, right? A man wants to go out, hunt, gather, provide. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think now in today's society, there's so much like equality. Men and women have to be equal. We all have to be the same. We all have to want the same thing. How often do those relationships or marriages work out? Not very often. It's not going to work if there's a power dynamic in the house. I've seen statistics with talk about like divorce rate and stuff like that. How often couples get divorced when the woman makes more than the man. For one, because he feels emasculated. Two, how often the woman leaves the man if the man gets fired from his job. Right? So there's all these things, but we say everything's equal. It's not equal. Like, if the numbers of divorce go drastically higher when a husband loses his job, the woman decides to leave him, the number are through the roof. It's crazy. But then we say everything should be equal, but women don't want to be provided for. Right? So there's this like, but yeah, absolutely. I think, yeah, we all should, men and women should want different things in a relationship. That values, everything should be different. Opposites attract. That's why you have a positive and a negative on a battery. Mm-hmm. If you have two, you do this. Everything clashes, you know? I think having that happy medium. That's why you'll see maybe one partner's super outgoing and then the other partner is very reserved, right? The reserved one brings her back down to earth, but the super loud one, outgoing one, kind of brings the life out of the one who's more reserved, right? That's a healthy balance. You got two people that are mad loud, they're annoying, you know, or you got two people that are super quiet. It's awkward. Mm-hmm. You need your partner to want different things in the relationship, because that brings out sides of you that you didn't know. That's what your partner is supposed to do. Your partner is supposed to teach you things that you didn't even know about yourself, and then you unlock them and you're like, wow, I didn't even know I liked this. I didn't even know I felt like this. I didn't even know I had this in me. But because you're my person, you were able to bring it out of me, and you were the only one that could do that. But that was because we are so different in our own ways, and we want different things. And you had to teach me a new language to rewire the way my brain looks at life. And I think it's healthy.
Yeah, I would agree. I think you took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say there's a reason that positives and negatives, opposites attract. I think like from an overall perspective, I think men and women both want to be happy, have people that feel like home, that are both good parents, yada, yada. But then I think when you boil it down, like after the obvious, we want different things from each other, right? And yes, for sure, men are hunter-gatherers. We want to be the providers. We want to be the nurturers. We want to make sure that you're safe. We want to protect you. And women want that, you know? But I also think that like we looked for our women to be a safe space for us, just like they want us to be a safe space for them. So I do think that from an overall perspective, there are definitely things that men and women both want out of each other, but you need to boil it down after that. That's like what we were talking about on the journey app, the chemistry and the compatibility. The chemistry is like we get along and we want the same things. Compatibility is I need this from you and you need this from me, and we both check off those boxes, right? And there's a difference between the two. So from an overall perspective, I think men and women for the most part want a lot of the same things, but it goes way deeper than that. And like Z said, when you have, if you are too similar to your girl in the sense of personality or outgoingness or anything of that sort, you guys are going to clash a lot because your egos subconsciously are just going to keep on, especially if you're in like a very long-term relationship. Those are difficult when it comes to that because eventually you just like, you get to a point where you know about this, you know so much about this person and vice versa that there's nowhere else really to go. You start to clash a little bit and you got to get through that. I don't think it's easy. I don't think it's easy to find the girl that you're extremely compatible with that wants and needs the same things that you do, whether they're on different ends of the spectrum. It's possible, but it's hard. And I think that, again, to play off the men and women should be equal in today's society, that only suits the women when they want it to. But when it comes down to who should pay the bill or who's paying the bills, who's paying the mortgage, who's paying the dinner, who's doing everything else, we're not equal. The man is always on top in those situations to get all of that stuff done. So equality between the genders only works when it's suitable for the women. You know what I'm saying? It's like we should get paid the same or we should do X, Y, and Z. All this shit should be the same. But then when you switch it to a relationship, oh, no, like, and I don't believe in going 50-50. Like, I don't believe in any of that. I believe the man is supposed to be the guy that's on top. He's the provider and he's the nurturer. So I get it. But I'm just saying we can't have, on one hand, it can't be men and women should be equal. And then on the other hand, it's women want this strong, masculine provider, nurturing guy. And then they wonder why men don't go up to them in bars and clubs because they have alpha egos and the man doesn't want to clash with that. So if you're a woman who has an alpha ego and you're not supposed to have one, don't be surprised when you don't get a lot of men that are coming up to you because we don't come up to women that think that not think that they're men, but like, act masculine in some ways. I'm not gonna come up to you. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for a feminine girl. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's difficult, bro.
Yeah, because also what she was alluded to, she was going off of that point where it's like she was basically saying that if you're a woman and you're feminine and you want to be feminine, but you also are assertive and masculine, you giving the man no position or no opportunity to be a masculine person, to be masculine. No. To be assertive, to like plan the date for you, to pay for the date. If it's like, oh, I'm paying for everything and I'm doing all this, like I pay for my nails or whatever it is. Yeah. You haven't given the man the opportunity to even show you that he's masculine because it's just like that thing where it's like I can do it myself. Yeah. I don't need you.
Yeah.
But
so what the fuck am I doing here?
But the thing is that we both need each other. The same way 100%. A man needs a woman needs a man. A man cannot build his kingdom without his queen.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And a queen can't live out what she wants to provide for her children or for her husband without the king.
They both know their role. Yeah. The king and the queen. And that's how they get to be king and queen.
Yeah.
Like besides all the being born into this shit, we're not talking about actual king and queens. We're talking about a king and his queen. They both make it there by knowing their role. That's not to say that I'm not like coming at women. I'm just saying don't be a difficult woman and then expect a man to, let's say, plan a date when you're extremely difficult. You know what I'm saying? It's like you said, you give him no leeway at all to be assertive, to be the tough guy, to be the nurturer, to be the provider when you're difficult to please. Yeah. And then you wonder why men just say, fuck it, I'm tired. I don't even care. And then they probably wonder why men would rather go to a strip club where there's no emotions. I'm not that guy. But I'm just saying, let's not attack. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of shit going on here. If you want to go and find a man, well, then act like it, is my point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because eventually you're going to get, and this is where we're at in society, that this is when we're going to get where men are just going to stop going up to women because they think maybe they have no chance for whatever the reason is. Or two, you're just too masculine and assertive and that's not what we're looking for.
Listen to this.
True equality is when you have to put up with the same level of shit that everybody else does. That would be a lovely indication where the conversation around men struggling, you know when that actually gets started, when we know that is widespread accepted? When you're able to talk about it without a disclaimer at the beginning.
I think that's
Yeah.
I mean, bro, is that not like you want equality? Well, there's both sides to that spectrum.
Yeah.
You only want the positive side of it. What about the struggle?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why it's not the same.
Bro, it's just like we don't want to need somebody.
Mhm.
Because that's scary. Because to need somebody is like you need oxygen, you need water, you need food. It's like there's no vital life source without it. Well, guess what? If you want a family, you need a partner. If you want a marriage, you need a partner. But it's like to need something is like there's a negative connotation with it. It's like this is my life source. I can't live without it. But guess what? There's things that I need my girlfriend for, and there's things probably she needs me for. And that's just what it is.
It's natural.
And to need somebody is to also be like, in your most vulnerable state, it's like, all right, if I need somebody for something, it's like, I'm living this human experience, understanding that I'm giving it the best of my ability to fully be a human. To need somebody is to embrace your own like imperfections and your own imperfections and your own like shortcomings.
It's dropping the ego too.
Yeah,
Needing someone.
because you're allowing this person to fully see who you are.
Yeah.
But guess what? We go to bed at night, and then we're the only people that truly know who we are. But imagine if somebody else can share that space with you. And it's like, you know what? This is who I truly am. Imagine how beautiful that could be. Imagine how finally you could feel like seen and understood. Well, you know what? I know who I am, but you know, maybe somebody else can understand a little bit of what I go through or a little bit what I deal with. But it's just the fact that we don't want to need another person because we feel like that's negative or we feel like that's bad. But to have this thing that we want of love, we need this other person to fully make it work.
Yeah.
Well, that's how I think a relationship will work, especially for men. Like if your woman almost knows you on a deeper level than you know yourself. And I think that's when a man can truly trust a woman, where he doesn't have to ask or he doesn't have to question, or she just knows. And there's this weird unsaid thing of, I know you on this level because he was able to be emotionally available and let her in. And he showed a side that he never gave anyone else. And I think for men, that's so hard to be able to do that because maybe we've done it in the past, it got shut down. Maybe we've done it in the past and someone said, shake it off, get up, right? And it creates this stigma that we're not supposed to do that. But when there is a girl that you truly feel open to be that vulnerable with, she learns so much about you because women have this motherly instinct. They just know things before it happens. And like, we don't have that. And so then when they start to teach you about yourself and she knows you on a deeper level that no one else knows you on, that's when you know, like, she's the one. Like, I need to keep her close. I need to do right by her, because there's only a few people in a man's life that you allow to know you on that level. There's people that are blood that don't know you on that level. You have friends, you have family members, you've had previous partners. We only allow a very, very small amount of people to know us on that deeper level. So when you allow that woman in and she meets it to where you need to be met, that's usually when you realize, like, this is probably my person.
So do you think men value intimacy? Do you think that that's what they value most? Because that I would call that intimacy.
I think that is intimate, and I do think men value intimacy. Not all, right? This is all subjective. It's all
for sure.
speculative, right? Where we can't speak for everyone. But yeah, I would say majority of men, whether they want to admit it or not, do really value intimacy, sometimes more than women, but they're afraid to show it. And I think there's so many times where maybe men struggle in relationships, in the bedroom, in dating, right? Because of this lack of intimacy which is the thing that they want the most. Maybe they didn't get it as a kid. Maybe they didn't get it from their mother. Maybe they had attachment issues, and every time they got close to someone, they never got to meet them on that level. So I think there's a reason so many men are craving intimacy and craving real connection, because they've been without it for so long and they're just searching for it. And when someone can do that for you, that's why you see men like change. And all their boys would be like, bro, you changed when you got a girl. But and sometimes some guys change for the worse. But I think often if your woman can like kind of change you and make you a little softer, bring that more intimate side out, like that's a sign that this is real, right? Your woman should bring your walls down a little bit. She should create a safe space for you, because we don't have to be this macho masculine persona all the time. So yeah, I think men are craving for intimacy, like in silence.
My short answer to that is yes, but what I think a lot of men get twisted, and I've been there too, is mistaking sex for intimacy sometimes. And I think that intimacy can be in, like we've been saying, opening up to a girl and not being judged or being heard, things along those lines. I think when you flip it, I think a lot of the times intimacy for a woman is sexual. It's a lot for women sometimes to like let a man in that way. But for men, sometimes it's emotional for us and sometimes it's not. And I think that we crave intimacy, but I think that we crave it on a different level than women do. Because again, yeah, we need to be the strong, tough, alpha provider, nurturer for the most part within our little bubble of our life, you know? And when we get the chance to be with a woman where we're going to do all of those things, but for like 10% of the time, I can let my walls down. I could be emotional. I could be open. We could talk deep about shit that I probably haven't spoken about with other women before. Like that's the intimacy that I think a lot of men crave silently, like Z said. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Being able to connect on another level emotionally. And I think that's very difficult when you're not open to it, or you've been through the mud before and you're just not emotionally available. And then that's where men run into problems, getting into relationships or holding a relationship and yada, yada, yada. Because it's a lot to let your walls down with somebody that you maybe only know for 6 months. Because like Z said, there's going to be family members and that are blood to you, or friends that you know for a decade plus that don't know some of the things that your partner is going to know, because you spend eventually at some point when you get involved with somebody and it becomes like a relationship, you spend more time with that person for the most part, either spending time or talking to them than you do with your friends, because you're in like that honeymoon phase or whatever the case may be. And you have to get to a point where you're talking about some shit that a lot of people probably don't know about you. And that's very intimate, you know? Yeah. So I think that we crave that silently because we also can't really talk about that online, because like not online, but out loud, because of the stigma that it holds, and that we need to be, you know what I'm saying? We need to be the strong fucking alpha male physically, but nobody talks about this. And I think that's where intimacy starts to get a little, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I think with that, like, I think when you know you truly love a girl is when you are able to open up to her on that level, but you're really only opening up to her on that level so she knows who you really are and why you are the way you are. I think so often we allow outside opinions to dictate how we feel about ourselves, when it's like, you don't even really know me. Like, you don't know why I am the way I am. You don't know my full story. But when you can tell your partner, your woman, that part of your life that maybe you never shared with anyone else, it's because you want her to know why you are the way you are, why you react a certain way, why you communicate this way, why these certain things affect you. You open up to your woman because you want her to at least, like, give you some grace, right? Have some empathy for you. If you just acted in a certain way without her knowing the backstory, well, then that would probably be an issue. But it takes the right woman for the man to be able to show that side.
Mm-hmm.
And a man will only open up to a woman when he trusts her on that level.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to let you in on my deepest, darkest secrets, my biggest battles, my biggest struggles, if I can't look at you on that level. And it's very hard for a man to allow a woman to get to that level. Mm-hmm. But that's why when she gets there, though, you have to see that as a man and realize, like, I've never let anyone here before. And the fact that I let you in, probably the right person.
That's scary. That's also scary.
Yeah.
Whether it's good or whether it's bad, it's still scary.
Yeah.
You know, whether it works out or it doesn't, it's like jumping off the cliff and you have a parachute on your back and you pull it and now it's not scary no more, but it was still scary when you jump.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you feel like you guys were in your relationships, do you guys feel like you and the person that you were with had two different value systems? And maybe it wasn't like understood, like this is what I valued, and they weren't able to provide that for me.
For me, every time. I've never been with a person that where we had the same values, the way we looked at life the same, and that's why that shit didn't work. I think you and your partner should have, like we said, like there's differences in it, but your values, what you want out of life, the way you look at life, there has to be some alignment there.
In your relationships too, like values different in the relationship.
No, I'm talking about values of life.
Okay.
I think values in a relationship are often different. Mm-hmm. But I think for two people to work, values, the way you value life, what you're looking for, what you want out of life, the way you see the world, if you don't click there, it's not going to work. You know? Mm-hmm. If you voted Kamala and he voted Trump, it's not going to work. It's just not.
No, it's not.
You know, and like I'm using that as a drastic example.
I mean, that's most examples.
But use that. Like, if you see black and I see white, we're never gonna mesh because every situation brings out your true self. Like, it could be politics. It could be the way you look at money. It could be the way you want to raise a family. It could be even what vacation you want to go on. Mm-hmm. Maybe she wants to do a cabin in the woods and you want to go to Jamaica. And you guys can't get it to, you know what I'm saying? So there's so many things in relationships where, like, the way we look at life, and yes, there's sacrifice, but then there's things that you just can't sacrifice. Because when it gets that drastic, if you look at the world so differently, those sacrifices become like going back on your morals and your values, you know? And you shouldn't sacrifice what you believe in for your partner. It's just not your person. Mm-hmm. And I think that's more what it is. We just talked about the values in relationships, which I think are totally different. But, like, I don't know, dude. Like, even as friends, I mean, most of my friends, I'd say 98% of my friends that I genuinely talk to, we all kind of look at the world in a similar lens.
Yeah.
We all kind of align, like, same type of value, moral beliefs, same type of economic beliefs, same type of life, things we want out of life. Like, the people you surround yourself with, they say the median, right, is the 5 people you're around. So I agree with that. But the reason you don't have friends that you look at the world in a different lens is because you have nothing to agree on. So, and that's just a friend, someone you might see a couple times a week, I don't know, a couple times a month. Mm-hmm. Imagine your partner, someone you live with, and you guys don't look at the world the same way. I mean, that sounds like a disaster.
Yeah, it don't sound like fun at all. Just tell me what the question was. Just again, so
do you feel like in a relationship that your values were different?
No.
Like, do you feel like it was you wanted something differently than they did, or do you feel like it always was the same thing?
In my last relationship that I've been talking about for the fucking past year, no, I don't think that our values were different at all. We wanted the same things. I think that's why it hurt so much to have fumbled that and not have done the right thing, because I had everything that I wanted and I fumbled it. So no, for the short answer to that is I think that, and that's why we were together for so long, because our values and our morals were the same. The way we, again, like Z said, the way that we looked at the world was the same, you know, politically, economically, religion, family values, friend values, manners, just like like all that stuff needs to connect. No, it did for sure. Have I been in relationships or situationships where they didn't connect? For sure, and that's why they were just situationships. So that's why they never got to the next level. Because no, I don't think that you can. I don't know like what the pillars are. It might be like what I just said, economically, politically, religiously. And that's really all I can think of off the top of my head. Like if you guys aren't synced on, let's say like at least 2 or 3 of those, it's probably not going to go where you thought maybe it was because you were physically attracted to this person. That's
physically too. Like health wise.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Health-wise
That's why it just keeps on coming back to the difference between chemistry and compatibility.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So I feel like we talked about it without really talking about it. What do you guys think? What do you guys think love is?
Oh,
What do I think love is?
what do I think love is?
Oh, I said on our app.
Yeah,
That's what I said. Well, you had your headphones on.
Oh.
Yeah, we just spoke about this. That was kind of funny.
Yeah.
I think love is action.
Yeah.
I think people think love is a feeling and love is a choice. You can't choose love for someone. If I don't love you, I don't love you. Even though I told myself I choose you. That doesn't mean I love you. I don't think you can choose love. I think you can choose a person because you made a commitment, but I don't think you can choose the feeling of love. I think the feeling of love is guided by action.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you show people you love them through your action. The way you treat them, the way you make them feel, the little things you do for them, the things that you know that is going to make them feel something, and you do it without having to let them know I'm going to do this, or even tell them.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing. Like if you know your partner loves something, just do it and don't say anything about it. Don't like do something little for them and be like, hey, did you see that? No, just do it because you love them.
Mm-hmm.
They'll feel that without you even having to say like, I love you. I choose you. I feel love for you. Right? Like these are all external feelings that we can't even grasp. Right? But the action is what we can take. And that's why I do think I think love is an action. I'm going to actively love you by the things I do for you, the selfless acts, without asking for anything in return. I'm not asking you to love me back. I'm doing this because I love you. And I think that's where love has a difference in feeling and emotion and action.
So you think that you think that we've been misguided or misleaded in the idea that love is this feeling?
Yeah, because I think people feel love during the honeymoon phase, and it's not real love. You can't love someone that fast. John Deloney told us people think they want to meet their soulmate and then live the rest of their life. He goes, no, at the end of your life is when you're like, damn, I met my soulmate. You don't know who your soulmate is until you play out your life. But yeah, people do think that they're just gonna go and find their soulmate, or their soulmate's just gonna come and find them. And I think through life experience, through struggle and trials and tribulations and loss and failure and going through the hard times and sticking out through it all, and then choosing them every day and choosing to show them you love them through your actions, at the end of your life is where you could look back and be like, damn, I met my soulmate. I think people misconstrue what they think love is or what a soulmate is from a feeling that they got because life was shitty right now and someone new came in and shook it up and made me feel alive again. I think we can get something that we never felt before and then be misled and say, oh, this is love. This is my soulmate. That's not your soulmate. You've just been lacking so much love and feeling and intimacy in your life. Someone came in, it could have been anyone. It's not that person. Could have been the 5 other girls that you tried to talk to if they just gave you the attention that you were lacking across the board for the majority of your life. But you find out like who was really your person and on paper your soulmate at the end when you realize like, damn, we made it through all of this. We did all of this. We've had funerals, marriages, kids, hardships, almost lost the house. You believed in me when I had nothing. I gave you everything when I really didn't have much to give. We stuck it out. That's when you can look back and be like, yo, that's my soulmate. That's what real love is, you know? But I just think the definition and the word love is just thrown around so frantically and just so casually now, where it's starting to lose its value a little bit.
I feel like it might be weird, but I feel like love is kind of what you said. It's consistent, right? Like if you think of what makes, I mean, I don't know if these two analogies collide, but I think what you think a great player is, LeBron James, been consistent for 20 years. Regardless of how many games he's played, you know that he's going to show up every season. Mm-hmm. Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, like, yeah, they've been consistent. And the same thing with love. Like, yeah, love might be an off season, right? You might love this person below your averages, but guess what? You still show up the next day and you still show up the next game and you still love them regardless, right? Like, despite of what you're currently in, what season whatever that season is, like, you know that they're always going to be there. Right? If you're having a downtime or you're up and they're down, or they're up and you're down, and you're like trying to figure out certain things about your life, and they might be able to try to figure out certain things with their life. It's like the one thing that love is that it's consistent, regardless of what's going on or storm is going outside. Like, it's always going to be here, regardless of the ups and downs. And like, I think that's really what love is. And I think we've often had this idea that it's this feeling, but like, I could feel happy today and sad tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So it's like to say that I could feel love for this person today and not tomorrow is that a real good metric or a good guide?
No, it's just not love.
Yeah. No, I think it's an idea that you made up in your head that this is what love is supposed to be. This is this Disney fairy tale of like, oh my God, it's so beautiful and all this. Like, no, love is pretty ugly at times.
I also think love ebbs and flows, where I think sometimes your partner has to love you more than you love them that day. And I think there's going to be days where you got to love them a little bit more than they loved you that day. Mm-hmm. But I think that's where you always have to pick up for your partner's lack in the relationship. Yeah. And I think that's where it becomes real, where you're like, I love you even though you didn't make me feel love today. Like, you didn't make me feel love today, but I'm still going to love you because I do. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where that difference is.
Yeah, that's where it goes back to the consistency part. Like, you know, regardless of like, that dynamic, that they're going to still love you regardless.
It goes back to two things. One, what you ended yours with, it's not about possession. So it's not about if you love me back. I love you. And then the only other word that I could correlate with love would be unconditional, right? There is no such thing as love with conditions. Love is unconditional, like, period. That's the adjective to describe it. To me, love is an action and love is unconditional. Like we said, some days you're going to need to pick up the slack for your partner and maybe show them a little bit more love than they're showing you, and vice versa. And some days you're going to be happy, some days you're going to be sad. But love, the fact of the matter is I love you, and that doesn't change regardless of how I'm feeling today, right? And I think that's the best way to describe it and to decipher if it is or if it isn't love. Mm-hmm.
Do you guys think that there's a belief or consensus in relationships that might be outdated? That might have been something that our parents or our grandparents or great-grandparents like experienced or went through, or just like an idea that you think now doesn't apply anymore?
Well, I think the divorce rate was probably less back then than it is now, right?
Way less.
So I think that maybe they had a better grip on marriage back then than we do now. Why is that? I think it's because everything is so accessible now that everybody thinks that the grass is greener, right? Because you can open up your phone and start scrolling Instagram or TikTok or Hinge or Raya or whatever and see 10 out of 10s across the board and think like that's possible. not that that's possible for you, but that's better for you than what you already have, based on basically no context, right? Well, back then it wasn't really like that. You didn't have the world in your pocket, so you appreciated what you had more, right? And that's probably something that the older generation can't really fathom when it comes to us. You know? So do I think that there were things back then that actually probably got overlooked more than they do now? Infidelity probably got overlooked more back then. Unfortunately, domestic violence probably got overlooked back then a little bit more. More women probably stayed when they probably shouldn't have, whereas nowadays they don't, because now they know the grass is probably greener on the other side. So I think maybe it could work in both ways, because there are going to be situations where you should leave, but there are going to be situations where you should stay when people don't, because they think that the grass is greener on the other side when it's not. So I think that I don't think there's like a set answer to that. I think that everybody's situation is different. Everybody's relationship is different. Everybody's perspective is different. No two eyes see the same thing. And everybody comes from a different upbringing. And the upbringing is a major part of this, because if you're a girl and you were very close with your mother and your parents were together, but your father used to beat her or cheat on her, and your mother still stayed, and now you go and you get with a guy who does that to you, and you don't leave, probably because that's what you saw growing up, and you thought, oh well, maybe this is just normal, we'll get through it, you know. But then if you're a guy on the flip side, like let's say me, for example, my father was basically cheating on my mother for my whole life. Did I know about it? No, but I learned it later. That it makes me wonder if this shit is even fucking like possible to have a long-term relationship, because I've seen two people be together for 20 years and then it just like faltered, which felt like in 365 days. So I think a lot of it depends, bro. I think a lot of it is subjective, and it really depends on your specific situation. I have an OCD moment right now. Did we hit record on the thing again?
Yeah.
Still good.
My bad.
We're recording everywhere.
Yeah.
We're recording here?
Yeah, we're good.
Nah, we're good.
Nah, yours cooked.
Imagine. Fresh.
Yeah, but I also think like with the divorce rate and things like that, because like when you were saying, I had an initial thought, but then you said something else. I'm like, damn, that's also true. It's like, is the excess of accessibility to potential partners the reason we're unhappy, or are we actually unhappy in the relationship?
Yeah.
And I think that's like the dichotomy that you have to decide. It's like, am I actually unhappy with this person? Do I really think I can do better? Is someone going to love me the way that they love me? Or is the accessibility on the internet and dating apps and going out, where I have every single option that I would ever want at the palm of my hands, that's what's forcing me to be unhappy? Because like J. Cole said, like, love yours. There's always going to be something better. Like there's always going to be something better until you truly love yours and that doesn't distract you anymore. And I think that's the struggle with modern day dating, is the accessibility makes us think that this is better. That doesn't mean it's better. And also the excess accessibility to potential partners makes us believe that we're unhappy, or this is not enough. What I have right now with this partner is not enough because they look like that on Instagram or on a dating app, or I ran into so-and-so out and I can do better. They're going to make me more happy. You don't even know them.
You have no context at all.
That's it.
You have zero context of who that person is, but in your crazy, screwed up mind, you think that what you have right now is not enough. And I think that's the differentiation of like, one, you have to know like, bro, there's going to be unlimited options. Unlimited options as you progress in your life. There's always going to be more. But love is an action. So it's like, hey, if I made this commitment to you and I'm choosing you, like That's the coolest thing you could ever do. Going to get 100 girls, it's not that cool. Sleeping with 100 different women, not that cool. Choosing a woman that believed in you when you had nothing and you stayed with her because she stayed with you. And then maybe you have the option to go leave and go do better, but you decide to stay because you made a commitment to her. That's cool.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think I think you hit it on the nail on the head. It's like the idea that the sick brains that people have, it's like you're still gonna have the same problems, right? Like you don't even know who they are. They could be a shitty person for all you know.
Be worse. Yeah.
And I think that's what makes them ugly. Regardless of like how appealing a person can be, like if they're ugly on the inside,
Yep.
you're an ugly person, regardless of it.
Yep.
You know, nothing can fix that. Nothing can
But
fix
most
it.
times your shit isn't even that bad. You make your shit bad
Well,
because
that
you
too.
want it to be bad.
Yeah.
Because you want to go find quote unquote better.
Because you still haven't fucking healed from the things that you've, that unprocessed trauma.
Or you're self-sabotaging it
Yeah.
because you're scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe someone finally gave you the love that you always looked for and you don't know what to do with it. So now you create a story in your mind that's not even real to make this person out to be the villain or say that they're not good enough or I'm settling because of the excess accessibility that I'm going to go pursue. And you try to make that person like they're the villain. You didn't even nothing happened. You're creating a story that is unreal because you're afraid to accept love from the way that it's foreign to you.
I just feel like people lack accountability. You know, when you guys were talking about it, when you were saying like, oh, darn, what were you saying at the end of the pod? You were just like saying, oh, what was
Nobody's
it?
coming to save you.
No, I'm a woman. Like, oh,
I'm just a girl.
I'm just a girl. Yes. And I was,
man,
I wasn't playing anything, and I was waiting.
I have a drink in me and half a joint in me. Don't get me started.
No,
I'm fucking
no.
just a girl.
I'm just gonna
girls.
say this. I'm gonna say this. I saw a video the other day, or I don't know how long ago it was, but it basically said the saying "I'm just a girl" is the lack of accountability for you to be able to do something. And in terms of like lack of accountability, it's like I'm not going to do this because I don't want to hold myself accountable to the standard of the human or relationship standard.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna say I'm gonna go with the cop out of like I'm just a girl or like all these things. I'm not generalizing, saying it's like just women, but people in general, where they're just be like, "Oh, I can't do this because so and so," but it's just a lack of accountability to be like, you know what, I fucked up, I fall short. But it's like we don't even want to say that because then it's like, oh, but this person did this and they left me or whatever. But it's like you just weren't even accountable. There's no accountability here. If you just took accountability for your actions and what you did and what you caused for it, imagine how much more positive relationships you can have.
Yeah.
But it's the lack of accountability that you want to say that you fucked up or that sometimes your shit does stink.
Yeah.
That's why you don't see the fruit of your labor in your relationships.
Yeah.
I'm just a girl people, man.
Well, yeah, no, the I'm just a girl is kind of a blanket statement for life. Like
Yeah.
you said.
Yeah.
Where it's just like,
Finding
Well,
an excuse.
yeah, I
That's
am
it.
the way I am.
Right.
Because
It is
who
what
I
it
am.
is.
That's who I am.
Yeah.
And it's like people forget they have the ability to like change and take control and make an effort to do so. You know, like I think that, yeah, accountability, effort, I think a lot of that lacks. And I think a lot of that bleeds into relationships and friends and family and just being a good person, right? And showing love and giving love, like all these things that we've been talking about. I think a lot of it does come down to just like effort and accountability and not succumbing to societal standards that were created on X. You know, it's like, bro, people will read shit on like Twitter or Instagram and like live or die by it.
Yeah, bro.
It's like, dude, you don't even know. You just read that at 8:43 this morning, like fresh off the wake up. Like you didn't even brush your teeth yet.
Bro, people can't think for themselves, bro.
No, but well, that's why like the fucking what's that shit called? horoscope shit.
Yeah. Oh, zodiac.
Every
signs.
girl I talk to now, I'm like, they'll ask me, and I'm like, don't tell me you're into that shit. And maybe they're lying, but like they'll be like, nah, not really, but like I'll read it, you know. But bro, if you're into that shit, nah, you gotta go. That's another ick. That's another ick for me. That's not physical.
Yeah, I
But
could've
if you're
thrown
into
that in
that
there.
horoscope shit, yo, girls will literally live and die by reading a horoscope zodiac scripture on Twitter or Instagram. Do no research behind it. Never self-reflect to realize if that's really them, and then talk to a guy and be like, nah, I can't date you because you're an Aquarius. It's like, what?
Yeah, it's
What
crazy.
kind of sick thing
No,
is
it's
that?
the sickest thing.
Yeah,
bro.
no, it's sick.
Bro, I'm just saying that shit blows my mind that like people literally like make their horoscope and zodiac sign their identity.
Yeah.
They'll sometimes girls I've known them. They will start acting like their sign because they read about it. And it's like, yo, you didn't even do that shit before you got into this. It's like you tricked yourself to believe that you act this way because you're a Leo. It's like, what? Or the worst part, they will what will they do? Oh, they'll justify their actions based off of it's because
I'm just a Taurus.
I'm just a Taurus.
I'm just a Taurus.
I'm a Gemini.
That's just how we are.
That's how we are. What? These girls will literally justify their shitty actions and the way that they carry themselves, the way they treat people because of their zodiac sign.
I think what's even worse is that like people's friends would enable that behavior and be like,
Dude, there's
this is okay.
communities with
You
that
know?
shit. Those girls are sick in the head.
I think, bro, also
Sick.
too, like another thing,
Sick.
I think a lot more healthy relationships would be cultivated if you just stop sharing what happens in your relationship to other people. I think people often say too much what happens in their relationship, and like, you ever told a friend where like, oh, this would happen in a relationship, then they give you like their opinion of what the relationship should be, or like how this person is, or like, oh, they don't even know you, or like all that.
Yeah.
That's why, like, I don't know. I just don't share my relationship business with other people, because at the end of the day, it's like, it's me and it's between me and this person. Your distorted view, or like your own biases of me and how you've viewed me in this one context and not the romantic context, would just be like, all right, this person doesn't understand you. This person's not for you. And I think a lot of people would be able to figure it out more if, like, number one, maybe they've visited like a relationship counselor. Like, there's some really good relationship counselors that I've seen on like socials where they'll have like this 3 people setting and they'll talk about it. That's not for everybody, but I'm saying, like, if more people figured out their relationship problems with just those 2 people, I feel like a lot more relationships would be successful. But because you go on social and you blast this person, or because like, oh, I can't date a man, or I can't be with a person that's this way, or so-and-so, now you're just blowing up your relationship. But because you have to tell that third party and don't fix it within the first party, I think that's sometimes why there could be some added tension in a relationship.
I have a little pushback on that because I think I've gotten the best feedback from a third party, from someone who was emotionally removed from the situation, because my opinion is so biased because I want to just hear what I want to hear.
Yeah.
But then sometimes your boy is going to sit there and be like, bro, she doesn't.
I mean,
she doesn't
but that's
watch it.
rare. That's rare, though. I'm saying
Is it?
that's
been every time for me.
You also got to know who you're asking, though.
right.
Well, that's very true.
You
But
know
I'm
what I'm
saying,
saying?
my boys have always fucking known. Every relationship I've been in, my boys have kind of almost told me what's going to happen.
and it's happened.
And it's happened.
Yeah.
But I couldn't see it because I was so
Well,
emotionally
maybe that's like
invested.
maybe that's the certain case where, like, all right, maybe you do need a third person. But I feel like sometimes we do take the opinion or like the comments of another person and be like, we internalize it. And
No,
it's
for
like, oh, this
sure.
is a bad person. But it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
No,
really
has
not.
there been situations where they were wrong? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But for the majority of like the conglomerate of the relationship, is this person for you? Right? But then that's also a test to my character, who I keep around me. I'm a good judge of character. I keep good people around me. I keep people with good judgment around me. I keep people with a similar mindset as me. I keep people with that have my best interest, right? So like, all of that, right? We're speaking speculative, like everything's different. But I do think that sometimes like we can convince ourselves what we want to hear when we're going through a heartbreak or we're going through relationship struggles. And we can almost like tell the story to someone in a way that you want them to agree with you just so you could satisfy your own ego in what you want to hear.
Yeah.
But then when someone tells you something who's not a yes man and tells you something you don't want to hear, and they say, hey, you were being fucked up to her. You know, you treated her wrong. Like she has every right to feel this way. Or, yo, she's playing you, bro. She doesn't like you. You don't want to hear that in that moment, but those are the people that you need around you. But we'll do everything to feed our ego and feed the made up story we made in our mind about this person because we're emotionally invested. We've already let our guard down. So I don't want to hear the truth right now. I just want to hear that something's going to make me feel good.
Yeah.
I'm hurting right now. I'm stressed out. I need something that's going to make me feel good. Now imagine a yes man. Imagine a yes man comes around. What's that do? It feeds it. But what if a real friend comes around and tells you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear? Those are the people you need to keep around. But sometimes we push those people away because we don't want to hear the truth.
It's good. Yeah, that's good.
Last question I have: is there a cut water left, or is no?
Fridge. Well, you have one more question, and then we can roll into Patreon for like 30 minutes. Yeah.
What, John? You might have a different answer. Zach, I haven't heard you. I don't think I've heard you answer this. I'm not sure, John, if you guys talked about this in your last episode, but what is one piece of advice that you would give your younger self about relationships or about a previous relationship you've been in?
What's one piece of advice that I would give my younger self about relationships or a previous relationship that I've been in?
Yeah. About relationships. Let's do
Just
relationships.
about relationships.
Yeah.
You have to love yourself first before you could love anybody else. So just take that into account when you start to meet new people that you have feelings for. Because if you don't learn to love yourself, you're going to bleed all over the other person. And that's like the last thing that you want to do in a relationship. And you're going to bleed all over the wrong person. You're going to bleed all over the right person at some point. And it's going to change your whole perspective on relationships. Now, that's only something that you could tell in hindsight. So obviously I'm talking to my younger self, and that's not possible to think of in the moment. And you need to go through it to experience that. But, yeah, bro, that like just to complete all the mistakes, like from an umbrella statement, all of the mistakes that I've made in relationships was because I was insecure and I didn't love myself enough. And my bucket wasn't full and I was trying to fill up other buckets. And eventually yours just topples over empty, you know, and who wants to be with an empty bucket? That's it.
It's good.
That's it. If somebody would have told me that when I first met G, we would be married right now. Together for fucking it would be 8 years, right? That's a long enough period. So no, you're gonna get married or some shit. She just put up with a lot of shit that she shouldn't have for like the last like 30 months, some shit like that. So that's what I would tell. I would tell my younger self, and don't think the grass is greener, for sure, because I got caught up in that. So when I started to make a little bit of money and I had a little bit more responsibility and I had a little bit more clout, and I wasn't totally happy with myself in the relationship that I was in, that I thought that if I went and got somebody else, that they were going to make me happy. I thought the grass was greener, but the grass. Let me explain something to you and to anybody that's listening. The grass is never greener. Like never.
Or just because the grass is green don't mean you can't step in shit.
Like either way, you was much better off staying in the fucking on the grass that you grew over here, right? And again, that's not something that you can understand unless you've been through it. You cannot understand that the grass is not greener unless you're with somebody in a certain situation and you leave for something else and you realize that what you wanted was what you had all along. So there's no way to learn that except to learn it and to go through it and to experience it. So it's a bittersweet question that you're asking, because it makes me like, you wish that you could tell your younger self to this, and that's why like I want to tap into the younger generation a little bit, like the seniors in high school or like the college kids. So like, even though they're not going to be able to learn fully from hearing and listening to this, maybe they'll be able to apply it to their current situation so that they don't have to go through it, you know? And their perspective will just be like, I never went through that, so I'm not sure. But they never went through it because they actually listened to who was around them. But that's what I would tell my younger self, bro.
Yeah. If I had to give my younger self relationship advice, I would just tell him like, yo, just be yourself. Stop trying to change who you truly are to fit the needs of other people. Like, if they don't like you for you, that's all good. You know, I think for so long, like, because I've had attachment issues and I've tried to mold myself into the person that I think other people would like, I forgot who I was in the relationship. And I'd be so invested into this person that I created that I made this person fall for, where I like kind of lost myself. And I was like, this isn't even you. I would tell my friends things that I would do. They'd be like, bro, what? Because they know who I am. But I'm making this person believe this is who I am because I just want them to like me. And that's what I would tell myself. Yo, just love who you are. Be you. If that girl wants to be with you for you, that's a win. If she doesn't, you don't have to change. You should never have to change who you are to keep someone around. Mm-hmm. The moment you feel the need to change who you are to keep someone in your life, that's the moment you realize that person doesn't need to be in your life. I don't have to change for anyone. Like, I have my own imperfections. I have my own faults, my own insecurities. I battle, I struggle, I go through everything same way you do. But I'm going to stay true to me. Whether you like it or not, it's not my problem. But if you want to be here, great. If you don't, good luck. And that's it. That's what I would tell my younger self. Because so long, bro, I would always try to like mold into what I think they wanted. For what? They're being them. They're being themselves. And I'm changing who I am. Mm-hmm. Do I even truly like them? If I have to change who I am to make them like me? Of course not. But it's this attachment issue, this loneliness, this societal pressure to have a relationship, to find the love of your life. But you won't, like John said, you only learn from the experience. Mm-hmm. So I'm so glad I went through all of this. Mm-hmm. So glad I learned so much. If I found the one at 19, maybe I probably wouldn't be that good of a husband at 28. But I think through all the failed relationships, now I could like, whenever I do meet the one and I am ready to settle down, like, they taught me so much. It made me learn so much about myself, where I shed off the dead weight. I shed off the fucking skin, you know? Where now I know what it takes now. I know what I look for in a partner. I know what I need to be. I know I don't need to change who I am. I know I'm not going to look for someone that needs me to be something I'm not. Like, there's so many things that we learn through these relationships, which are a blessing in disguise. And that's why hindsight is 2020, but it's a beautiful thing, because, if you had it back then, you probably would have lost it. But the only reason we get to keep it now is because we went through that. Mm-hmm. And that's all I would tell them. It's like, be you, be yourself. I've dealt with that across the board on every level of like, I mean, dude, like I dealt with it in basketball. Like I was the white kid with tattoos, you know, that didn't play like the conventional white boy. I could dribble and I could shoot from far and I would do behind the back passes and I'd be flashy and I'd talk a little bit and I could jump, I could dunk with my fucking left hand. Like it would, refs hated me. White refs hated me. White coaches hated me. And I don't know what it was because I think they thought I was trying to be something I'm not. That was me in my truest form.
Yeah.
So when I'm like, yo, when I'm me, when I'm truly being me, it's not reciprocated. Like it's not loved. I'm not getting the reward for me being me. So then I was like, fuck that. I'm just gonna confide to what everyone else wants. Whether it was a coach, a player, a ref, a fucking girlfriend, a friend, like when I was truly me, when I was on the basketball court, that was the most me you'll ever see me. That was the most me you would ever see me. And I would see the feedback sometimes, but I don't know what it was from. I did a test one time in college. I was like, you know what? I have a sleeve. I was like, you know what? I'm going to wear long sleeves. Wear long sleeves. You're not going to see any of my tattoos. Yo, I got mad calls. Mad calls. Calls I would have never got if I wore no sleeves, which I always did. I hated it with shooting. It would when I sweat, it would be like heavy on my shoulder. So I stopped doing I wore long sleeves. I never wore long sleeves, but I got so many more calls and refs like treated me better. Cause on paper I looked like the wannabe white boy with a tattoo sleeve that's trying to be something he's not. I'm like, bro, this is for my mother that died, dickhead. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to be something I'm not. And that's where I think that stemmed of when you're you, you're not good enough, or you're not respected, or you're not taken serious, or you're judged. So then I was like, you know what? Fuck that. You want me to be like this? I can do that. I'm good at that. I'm a good actor. I could blend it. I'm a chameleon. I could blend into anything you want me to, and you would have no idea. And that's why I can make people believe that I'm this person that they like, but they don't even know that this isn't even really me. That's why I've always thought I wanted to get into acting, because I can do it.
Let's do it. I want to act too. Or
No,
at least
I really do.
Yeah,
I'm really good at impersonations.
Oh yeah, yes you are.
I'm good at
you are.
impersonations.
Those core beliefs do correlate on why you would feel like you're not whenever you're you. I definitely feel that same way though.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah,
I wasn't able to jump as high as Zach or do all that other shit, but like, you know, you obviously
it's not a good feeling, you know?
Bro, I talk about that shit all the time, bro. I
Yeah.
talk about that shit all the time about how I'm 6'5", 350 and tattoos everywhere, but you guys know me, I'm a big fucking teddy bear.
Yeah.
I don't want no problems with nobody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I used to get into a lot of fights just because everybody wanted to like prove themselves on me. I don't want no beef with nobody, bro. Leave me the fuck alone, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I've dealt with that my entire life, and that's but I also think it's like our superpower.
Yeah,
We're never
for
trying to
sure.
be something that we're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're never. There ain't nothing fake going on over here.
Yeah.
You know? So
No, that's a good one. I never thought about that until you said that.
Yeah,
That,
it's
like
good,
when
it's
you're
good.
you, like talking shit, doing all that in the basketball court, that's when you're truly you. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, it's
That's when I
like-
feel free. I think that's like, it's a takeaway from the end of this episode. It's like, for people listening that are like lacking with purpose and identity and they don't know what they want out of life, it's like, think about the thing that makes you most feel like yourself, and then run away with it. Chase that shit to the stars.
Lean into that shit.
Like, try everything until you feel so much like yourself, like you've never felt before, and you're like, oh, this is what I've been looking for my entire life. This is who I truly am. And then just go down until the well is dry. And then when it runs out, find something else, because there will be a transition and you'll find something else where you truly feel like yourself. And then someone will come into your life and make you feel seen and make you feel like yourself. And then your kid who looks at you like a superhero is going to make you even feel more like yourself. And it's just this trickle, but like we need to constantly look for the things that let us be us. Because I think we're in a society and we're in a culture right now where everyone's trying to be something they're not. And that's why everyone is so unhappy. There's so much depression, anxiety, insecurity, because everyone's trying to play the game and run the rat race. But until you can find out who you truly are and who you truly want to be, it's when you feel like you in whatever you're doing. And when you find it, keep it.
It's a good way to end the episode. We
Great
will This will be we will be continuing on the Patreon. If you guys don't follow, I will drop their Patreon below, the Journey Podcast. Zach, John, I appreciate you guys again. This was fun. This was it was fun to hear you guys' perspectives on it.
Thanks for having us, brother.
Yes, sir. Love you guys.
Love you too, man. Let's rip the Patreon.
Bing.
Cut.